If you're tired of waiting for your spring garden to get some color in it, like I am here in southeastern Ontario here on April 20th, you may want to consider a specific plant to bring a little more color and life to a broad area of your garden. I think I've got the plant just for you. Welcome to the beautiful Magnolia. These beautiful shrubs or small trees come in a wide variety of types, and they can be grown in a number of locations from north to south in North America to suit your needs. This particular one is the Leonard Messel Magnolia, and this will typically go from 3 to 5 meters in height and up to 3 meters or so wide, or 4 meters wide perhaps when it gets older after 10 or 20 years. We've had this one planted here for maybe, I think, 5 years now. And we wanted one that would stand our zone here. We're in zone 5B, but at times in severe winters, I think we're more like a 4 or a 4B, 4A type zone. So we've had some poor luck with some of the other magnolias that we've tried planting, but this one does very well so far. And it has withstood some fairly cold winters in its early years. But these trees or small shrubs provide a profusion of color in early spring, just like it is now here on April 20th. And this would occur earlier, the further south you are, obviously. And this one actually is rated for zones 4 to 9. So this could even bloom well and survive theoretically north of here up until the Ottawa zone. The flowers have a light pink surface to the top of their petals, usually in the range of 10 to 15 petals. But as you can see, the underside is a dark pink. And this is seen from a distance because as you look at the flowers from the side, you're seeing the undersurface more so than the top surface. In the fall, the shrub forms these large bristly buds that stay over the winter and look very pretty on the shrub itself. And then at this time of the year, they burst forth with their beautiful pink and white color blossoms. So in this view, you can see a number of stages of the blossoms opening from tight fuzzy buds to bright pink blooms just starting to emerge to the full blooms fully out. So here's some of the fuzzy buds before they opened up. Quite attractive when the tree's covered with them through the winter and early spring. Then as they get more mature, they start to emerge with the bright pink lower side of the petals showing. So at this stage, they look very reddish pink as they come out of the capsule. Then they emerge into this full, beautiful, glorious flower, which varies between 4 to 5 inches in width. And as you can see, the underside petals are pink, whereas the top are very light pink to white. This shrub has a nice branching look to it as it matures. You can see here it has multiple branching from the main trunk and then onto secondary and tertiary branches, making for a nice full looking shrub. Unfortunately, the flowering doesn't last tremendously long, but you'll get a few weeks out of it before they start to turn brownish and fall off. And then this is supplanted by the medium to dark green, glossy, leathery-like leaves, which are actually quite attractive and tropical in their appearance. And I like that look in the garden, give it a bit more of a southern feel. As for soil, they prefer a humus-rich organic soil. Now here we have very sandy soils, but before I planted this, I did work in a lot of triple mix type soil to hopefully get it going well, and that seems to have worked. And over the years, I'm just going to keep adding organic matter to the soil around it and on top of the surface, because it really prefers that. It doesn't like to get too dry or too wet. It likes the moist organic matter that you would have, say, in a rich deciduous forest, although it likes to be out in the sun predominantly. They aren't shrubs for dense shade. So as you can see here, I've placed the shrub at the end of this larger garden, which I created a few years ago. And in this location, the shrub gets predominantly sunshine for at least 2/3 of the day or more. And it's quite sheltered here. It's surrounded by larger trees. That's another thing magnolias don't like, is to be exposed to harsh, cold north winds that dry them out and freeze them. Certainly a beautiful shrub at this time of year, and adds that flash of spring color that you so longingly yearn for at this time of year after the dead of winter. And everything is still brown for the most part in the garden, other than maybe some tulips or hyacinths coming up. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed that little summary of the Leonard Messel Magnolia. You can probably find these at most local nurseries here in southern Ontario, and certainly at any major nursery in a big city, I'm sure. There's other related magnolias like this, star magnolias, that are also adapted to a colder climate, and those are very pretty too. I've seen some of those around, and they have almost a pure white flower, more so than this, which has quite a bit of pink in it. So there are a few hardier types out there, but this one has done well for us, so I just thought I'd profile it a bit for anyone else living in this somewhat harsher climate than these shrubs are normally used to living in.